Welcome to Nahdlatul Exclusive together with me, Bepi. And today we are very honored to have one of the most famous and an honorable and honor to really have a Nobel laureate for Peace Prize and also a former President of Republic for Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste, former Prime Minister and former Minister of Foreign Affairs. And here we have Dr. José Ramos Horta. Thank you very much, Dr. Horta.
Thank you, a great pleasure.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you here for our very first ever Nahdlatul Exclusive. And we have 3 questions for you today. And I'm going to go straight to the questions. The first one, talking about the nominations of NU and also Muhammadiyah. What are the reasons behind nominating these 2 organizations for the Peace Nobel Prize?
Yes, I have nominated and intend to continue to nominate the 2 largest mass movement, religious movement in the world, in this case of Indonesia, Nahdlatul Ulama and Muhammadiyah. I know Indonesia very well, and I know the role of the 2 organizations in making Indonesia what it is today and what it has been. A very secular country with, of course, the largest Muslim majority in the world, but at the same time, not but the same time, the but would be already negative, and at the same time, being the largest Muslim majority country in the world, it is also one of the most tolerant countries in the world. And I'm not saying the most tolerant Muslim country. No, it is one of the most tolerant. Because sometimes we make this mistake, and unwillingly sometimes, is that when you say it is the most tolerant Muslim country, it means the Muslim countries are generally not tolerant, and that it is only the most tolerant among the Muslim countries, and the Muslim countries are not usually very tolerant. So that is absolutely wrong.
It's quite fair. Yeah.
Indonesia is one of the most inclusive Muslim countries in the Muslim world, but also it is one of the most inclusive, tolerant countries in general in the world. And that is for any honest, curious observer of Indonesia and of the world, you would say that. So, and the reason for what Indonesia is one of the most tolerant, open countries in the world, open society, is the role of these 2 mass organizations that teach tolerance, teach solidarity, and they implement those. Muhammadiyah, for instance, and Nahdlatul Ulama, they were involved in peace processes in Mindanao. They took active part in promoting in Indonesia solidarity with the countries that are afflicted by natural disasters or man-made disasters. And I personally, I know 135 countries in the world, and almost all in Asia, all in Europe, most in Latin America, Africa. And when I say I know this country, I really know it. I just don't know the name, and I actually know. And I would say Indonesians can be proud of what their societies have achieved over the last generations. So for this reason, I thought, working with my good friend, famous Indonesian human rights lawyer, Mulia Lubis, he was ambassador in Norway. I don't know whether still, I'm a bit out of date. And other friends of Indonesia. I have many friends in Indonesia, in politics, in the army, in academia, in human rights, in media. I know many people. I know all the president and the president of Indonesia since Gus Dur. Then came Ibu Mega and SBY and President Jokowi. I met all of them. and have the greatest admiration for the Indonesian leadership, what each has achieved during their time in office. So I thought Indonesia as a country deserves more recognition, and these two Islamic movement organizations deserve recognition for their vital role in making what Indonesia is today, one of the most tolerant, open countries in the world, not only in the Muslim world.
That makes Indonesia quite special, because you also mentioned that the nomination's been done before in 2019. And is it required to really put forward another nominations, or do you have to do it again, or one time only was sufficient?
Yes, it's actually not required to nominate again and again, but you can do so if that's what the nominator wish to do. But the Nobel Committee file up the more significant nominations. They file them up if, of course, the nominee had not won, and they come a time and opportunity where they pull it out and they reconsider it. Because sometimes a nomination is very valid, but that particular year the Nobel Committee members decided to focus on a particular world theme.
Okay.
This year, for next year, they decided to focus on freedom of expression. And why do they decide to do that? Because of the struggle for democracy, for freedom in the world, under challenge. Many journalists under attack.
Yeah.
In Asia, in the United States.
Exactly, yeah.
So the Nobel Committee always think strategically, not only on a specific time or subject matter. So I know that time will come when they will look at the role of religious movements, mass organizations, in how they shape societies. And these two organizations are incredibly effective. And of course they've been in existence for almost 100 years, since the 20s, at least, and Nahdlatul Ulama. Between them they have more than 100 million members.
Wow.
They have hundreds of hospitals, universities, social contribution to not only to Indonesian people, but to other situations where there is humanitarian disaster. They have contributed to sometimes working quietly behind the scenes in bringing the parties together to find the end of a conflict. I know of their contribution in the Mindanao problem, which is closer to Indonesia. So I know the work they are doing for a very important country, Indonesia. Indonesia is critical to well-being, stability of whole of Southeast Asia and beyond. The more stable, prosperous, tolerant, open Indonesia, huge influence on the other countries in the region. Yeah. So for this reason, I'm very, very supportive of the role of Nahdlatul Ulama and Muhammadiyah.
And I think to the question that I was about to ask you've already answered. How important was this winning, or not winning, but putting back again to be nominated for another year has a significant meaning to Indonesia. And I think you've mentioned that not only the two have made a great impact to Indonesia, but also the surroundings, and especially in responding to like not human rights only, but a lot of social issues. What are the views forward in terms of like these two can do for Indonesia, these two organizations can do for Indonesia?
The work for peace, for tolerance, for inclusive societies, for democracy is an ongoing process. Sometimes, over a period of years, everything seemed to be going very well.
Yeah.
In Indonesia, the transition to democracy started with the fall of Suharto in 98, 99. And the transformation has been incredible.
Yeah.
When you think back what Indonesia was 20 years ago, a bit over 20 years ago, and what is today, it is the most shining example in Southeast Asia and beyond.
And beyond, yes.
Look at the rest of Asia, where we are with the human rights situation. And so it is highly commendable for the Indonesian society, because Indonesian society contributed to it, not only the leadership. And the leadership in Indonesia is very wide. It's not only the president, because the country is so big, huge population, that the president alone cannot do everything in terms of uniting the country, in bridging religious, ethnic divides wherever they are. It is a role of mass organization like the two, Nahdlatul Ulama and Muhammadiyah, incredibly important. As in French, you would say incontournable, that you cannot ignore, you know. These two are critical. And so any president in Indonesia, any government, if he or she wants the country to be stable, to be peaceful, to be open, the role of the two are crucial. Anyone outside Indonesia who doesn't understand that, doesn't understand Indonesia.
Yeah. Completely agree with you, and those are very valuable, not only comments, but your insights are very crucial in terms of our today's first Hatutang exclusive. I think that's all, Dr. José Ramos Horta. Thank you very much for your time. Greatly appreciated. And this is our first ever Hatutang exclusive. We'll see you again in the next one. Bye-bye.